Okay, we're becoming quite good at subtraction by this point, and now we're going to learn to borrow over two columns, and there will still be one sum thrown in where we only borrow over one column. So let's do the first one. We can see we start with units at all times. Units here, 0 minus 1, but 0 is too small. So what did we learn in the last lecture? We've got to go to the tens column to go help 0 by taking 1 away from 3. 3 now minus 1 becomes 2. And the 1 we took away from 3 is added onto the 0 in the front, and it becomes 10. So 10 minus 1 is 9. Okay, right. The next column we're going to do is the tens column. 2 is too small to minus 5. So we need to go fetch from the hundreds column over here. 7 is going to give us 1, so 7 is going to become 6. And that 1 that we took away from 7 is going to stand in front of the 2 here and make a 12 for us. So now it's going to be 12 minus 5 is equal to 7. And then the very first column, which is our hundreds column, is the last one we have left to do. 6 minus 2 is 4. So our answer is 479. The next one, let's start with our units column first. 2 is too small for 3. It's too small. So we need to go and fetch at the tens column. So 3 is going to give us 1. It's going to become 2 by taking 1 away. And the 1 it's given us is going to stand in front of the 2 here and make a 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. Right. Now we're going to look at the tens column. This 2 that's here is too small. Sorry, this 2 that's here is not too small, so we're only borrowing once in this particular one. Remember, I said we will have one, we only borrow one column. So we've borrowed for the unit. Now we don't need to borrow. Why not? Because 2 is bigger than 1, so 2 can minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, right. Then we're going to do our hundreds column. Let's see what's happening there. 6 minus 3 we can do, so 6 minus 3 is 3. 319. That was the only sum I threw in that only borrows from one column. Now we're going back to borrowing from two columns so that you can practice everything here. 2 is too small to minus 5. So we need to go and borrow from the tens. We're going to take away from that 2, it's going to become a 1. The 1 we took away stands in front of this 2 in the unit and becomes 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. But in the tens column, the 1 is too small. It can't minus 6 from it. So we're going to have to go to the hundreds column to help it. So 8 here becomes a 7. We're taking 1 away from 8. And that 1 we took away stands in front of this 1 here, and it becomes 11. Now we can say 11 minus 6 is 5. Okay. Then we've got to do our hundreds column. Our sum isn't finished yet. 7 minus 3 is 4. Our answer is 457. Next one, units first. 2 can't minus 9. It's just too small. So we need help. We're going to have to go next door to the tens, and we're going to take away from this 1 here. It's going to become a 0. And we're going to take that 1 and put it in front of the 2 there, and it becomes 12. So now we can say 12 minus 9 is 3. Then we're going to do our tens column next. 0 minus 8 we can't do because 0 is, there's nothing there. So we can't minus 8 from nothing. We need to go help 0. We can help 0. We just got to go to the hundreds column. 5 will become 4. And that 1 we took away from 5 is going to stand in front of the 0 and make it a 10. 10 minus 8 is now 2. Okay. And then we do our hundreds column. 4 minus 2 is 2. Our answer is 223. I think that since these are revision lectures, you should be able to do the screen on your own. So we need to practice these 4 sums. You're going to borrow over 2 columns. Just think of 1 column at a time to make it simple for yourselves. Press pause, write down the sums, write down your answers after you've worked them out, and then press play so you can come and check if they're correct. Okay, so I assume you've done them. Let us start with the first one. These are all minuses, remember? Right. So the first one, we can't take 4 away from 3. So we're going to go to the tens column. We're going to take away from 5. It's going to become 4. And the 1 we took away from 5 is going to stand here in front of the 3 and become 13. 13 minus 4 is 9. Now, let's look at our tens column. 4 can't minus 5. So we've got to go to the hundreds column and take 1 away from 9. It becomes 8. And the 1 we took stands in front of the 4 here and becomes 14. Now we can say 14 minus 5 is 9. And then we've still got to do our hundreds column. Let's see what's left there. 8 minus 1 we can do. That's 7. 799. Okay, next one. Starting with units. 2 can't minus 3. So we're going to fetch from 4. It's going to become a 3. And that 2 will become a 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. And then we're going to do our tens column. 3 can't minus 4. Can't minus 5. So we need help. So we're going to go to the hundreds. Take away from the 6. It's going to become a 5. And the 1 the 6 gave us will stand here back in the tens column in front of the 3, which makes it a 13. So 13 minus 5 is 8. And lastly, we're going to do our hundreds column. 5 minus 4 is 1. So our answer is 189. Okay, next one. Units column first. 3 smaller than 5. So we're going to come and fetch from the tens. It's going to become a 2. And that will become a 13. 13 minus 5 is 8. Now we've got to do our tens column. 2 can't minus 3, so we've got to fetch here. 6 becomes 5, and that 1 it gave us comes and stands here in the tens column, makes that a 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. Right, and now we're going to do the answer to our hundreds column. 5 minus 4 is 1. 198. Last one on the screen. 5 can't minus 7, so we fetch from 2, it becomes a 1, and that 1 stands there and makes it 15. 15 minus 7 is 8. Okay, now tens column. 1 can't minus 3, so we're going to fetch here in the hundreds column. It becomes an 8. That 1 stands there. That's now 11 minus 3, which is equal to 8. And then our hundreds column, let's finish it off. We can't leave the sum unfinished. 8 minus 4 is 4. 488. How did you do on those? Don't worry if you haven't got them yet. We've got the next screen, another 4 sums to practice. Okay, so you're going to press pause. You're going to copy these down. And then when you're ready, you're going to press play once you've got your answers so that you can come and see if you got them right. Okay, so I assume everything's done. Let's start. 6 can't minus 7 because it's smaller. So we're going to go fetch help in the tens column. 1 is going to become 0 as it hands 1 to us to put in front of the 6, which is 16. 16 minus 7 is 9. Now we're going to look at the tens column. 0 can't minus 2, so we've got to go fetch in the next column, the hundreds column. 5 will become 4 as it gives us 1 to put in front of the 0 to make it 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. Right, and then our hundreds column, the answer will be 4 minus 2 is 2. Next one. 0 can't minus 1. So we're going to fetch in the tens column. 1 will go away, it will become a 0, and that 1 it gave us will stand here and make that a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. Now let's look at our tens column. 0 can't minus 1 either. So we're going to go to the hundreds and take 1 away. That becomes a 5. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. Now we just finish our sum in our answer for our hundreds column. 5 minus 2 is 3. We're busy with minuses here on the screen. Okay, let's look at the next one. 4 can't minus 5 because it's smaller, so we need to go to the tens column to fetch away here from number 3 will give us 1, so it will become 2. And the 1 it gave us will stand here in the units column and make it 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. Now, in our tens column, 2 is too small to take away 3, so we're going to go to our hundreds. 7 is going to give us 1, so it's going to become 6. And the 1 it gave us will stand here and make that 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. And then we want to just finish our column for our 100. 6 minus 2 is 4. That's the answer, 499. Last one in this lecture. 5 can't minus 6, so we're going to fetch in the tens column. 7 is going to become 6. And the 1 it gave us will stand here and make that 15. 15 minus 6 is 9. Okay, let's look at the tens column. 6 is too small to take 8 away, so we need to go fetch help in the hundreds column. 6 is going to become 5, as it gives us 1 to put here to make the tens into 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. And then hundreds column, 5 minus 4 is 1. 189. Okay, hope you understand borrowing over 2 columns better now.